Welcome to this episode of the Metaphysical Manner podcast, courtesy of Violet Spring, author, holistic life coach, intuitive energy healer, Reiki master, numerologist, and tarot practitioner.
So when you sent over those excerpts from Abundance, The Whole Truth, I gotta be honest, I was a little, skeptical maybe the universe as a company. It sounded a little out there.
Yeah, I get it. It's definitely a unique way to look at things. But hey, that's what makes these deep dives so interesting.
True. We get to explore these big, unusual ideas. And I'll admit, Spring's model, with the whole cosmic CEO thing, it really got me thinking.
It's definitely thought-provoking.
So for everyone listening, we're diving deep into Violet Spring's Abundance, The Whole Truth, specifically some excerpts that really jumped out.
Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, so Spring's main idea, if I'm getting this right, is that the entire universe is structured like a giant company, like with departments and everything.
Exactly. A huge, complex cosmic corporation. It's a pretty wild concept.
Okay, so if the universe is a company, who's the big boss? Who's calling the shots as the CEO?
Well, in Spring's model, the universe itself is the CEO. The ultimate driving force, the grand vision, all that.
Okay, I can kind of wrap my head around that. But even CEOs have, like, a team, right?
Of course. They can't do it all alone.
Someone to handle the day-to-day stuff. So what does Spring say about that?
All right, so get this. Spring calls the top-level management the Microverse. It's like this all-encompassing layer, almost like a giant cell containing everything else.
Okay, a cosmic cell, got it.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Time and space. They're not just abstract concepts in this model, they're actual departments within the Microverse.
Wait, hold on. So time and space, like, have their own offices and everything. Who's running those departments?
Spring calls the head honcho in charge of time and space the Director of Operations, or the DOP.
The DOP, fine.
Like a cosmic COO, making sure everything runs smoothly on a universal scale, according to the CEO's grand plan.
Whoa, okay. So the DOP is basically keeping the entire cosmos running on schedule.
You could say that. It really makes you wonder about our perception of time, right?
Yeah.
Is that just the DOP doing their thing? Something to think about?
That's a whole other deep dive right there.
Right. It's amazing what a good analogy can do. It makes you question everything.
Totally. But speaking of things we can't always predict, sometimes the universe throws us a curveball. Like a black hole appears out of nowhere, or we get a surprise supernova.
Those definitely weren't on the schedule.
Exactly. So how does Spring account for those unexpected events in this whole company model?
That's where the Chief Risk Officer, or CRO, comes in. Always got to have a CRO.
The CRO, always prepared. So what does Spring say about their cosmic role?
Well, the CRO is linked to what Spring calls the external atmosphere, and even more intriguing, other dimensions.
Ooh, dimensions. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But the excerpts didn't really go into detail about those, did they?
Not really, no. But it's clear that the CRO's job is to manage the unknowns, all those potential threats outside our current understanding.
Okay, so like cosmic insurance against those unexpected black holes.
Exactly. They're all about anticipating and mitigating risk on a scale we can barely fathom.
That's intense. But we've been talking about this macroverse, this outer layer. Spring also mentioned something called the microverse.
Right, and that's where things get even more wild. Think of the microverse as the inner workings, the nitty-gritty details of a single cell within this massive universal organism. And just like any well-run department, it needs its own leadership team.
Okay, so we're going even deeper now into the microverse, the inner workings of the cosmic company. I like it. So does this mean we need to update our resumes for like a microscopic job market?
Maybe not in the traditional sense,
Yeah.
but you're on the right track with the whole hierarchy thing. Within the microverse, there's still levels of management, and Spring calls the head of the microverse the internal atmosphere, which acts as the COO.
The COO. Okay, so even inside this cosmic cell, there's someone making sure everything runs on schedule. So what all falls under the COO's domain?
Well, in the excerpts you sent over, Spring really hones in on the COO of the third dimension. And that's where it gets really interesting for us humans, since we're, kind of vibing in the third dimension.
Right. So we have a dedicated COO just for our dimension. That makes sense. I mean, things can get pretty unpredictable down here in the third dimension.
Tell me about it. But here's the thing. Spring suggests that our third dimension COO is responsible for implementing the CEO's blueprint, specifically for us humans. So we're talking like a master plan, a grand design for humanity.
Okay, now you've got my attention. So does that mean free will is just an illusion and we're all just puppets dancing to some predetermined cosmic tune? I mean, are we really that predictable?
Well, now, Spring doesn't come right out and say that. Remember, this is a model, a framework for understanding these big concepts, but it definitely raises some interesting questions about choice, destiny, all that good stuff.
No doubt. And it makes you wonder if we're all just running around in the third dimension trying to live our best lives. I imagine things could get a little chaotic even with a COO in charge. So is there anyone making sure we're all following the script of this grand plan?
You're catching on plan. Spring introduces the Chief Compliance and Security Officer, or CCSO, of the third dimension.
CCSO. Okay, that sounds a little intimidating. I'm picturing like a cosmic hall monitor making sure we're not breaking any interdimensional rules.
Think of it less like a cosmic cop and more like the very fabric of reality, the framework that holds everything in place. Spring describes the CCSO as being responsible for directing and dispersing the incoming-outgoing flow of energy and matter, all according to the CEO's blueprint.
Okay, so the CCSO is like the ultimate project manager, making sure everything aligns with the big boss's vision.
Exactly, maintaining order, stability, balance within the third dimension.
So then back to my earlier question about free will. If the CCSO is all about maintaining order, does that mean we don't really have a choice? Or are we given like a little wiggle room within the CEO's grand scheme of things?
Now that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And Spring's model is kind of open-ended in that sense. It doesn't provide a definitive answer, but it definitely makes you think about the possibility that maybe our actions, our choices are happening within a framework that we don't fully grasp yet.
It's a lot to wrap your head around. A little exciting and maybe a little unnerving at the same time.
Definitely. But don't forget, we're still in the realm of the COO and CCSO of the third dimension. And if this cosmic corporation is anything like the ones we're used to, there's probably a whole chain of command below them.
Oh, I bet you're right. So who else is on this cosmic org chart? So spell it. Who else is on this cosmic org chart? We gotta know.
Well, hold on tight, because Spring says there's a whole team of managers running things within the third dimension.
Managers, huh? Cosmic middle management. This just keeps getting better.
Right. And it's not just one type. We're talking general managers or GMs, district managers, those are the DMs, and even regional managers, the RMs.
A whole corporate ladder in space, that's kind of cool. So who are these GMs and what are they like managing? Planets, galaxies.
Good question. They oversee what Spring calls the exosphere, ionosphere, and thermosphere.
Wait a minute, aren't those like layers of the Earth's atmosphere?
They are, but Spring's using them metaphorically here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not talking about literal weather patterns and stuff.
No, not exactly. It's more like these GMs are managing the bigger picture of our dimension's energy flow.
Okay, so like those cosmic energy currents that influence everything, but on a huge scale.
You got it. They're responsible for the overall health and balance of those systems.
Wow. Okay, so what about the district managers? Where do they fit in?
They handle the, as Spring puts it, the inner workings of our world. So that includes things like the mesosphere, stratosphere, and troposphere.
Okay, so if the GMs are handling big picture energy, the DMs are more like the detail-oriented folks making sure everything runs smoothly on a smaller scale.
Precisely. They're making sure the CEO's grand plan is being executed down to the tiniest detail.
This is blowing my mind. We've got cosmic CEOs, a CRO, COOs, and now a whole squad of GMs and DMs managing energy and matter across dimensions. It really does make you think about the universe as this massively interconnected system.
And we're not even done yet. We still haven't talked about the regional managers.
Oh, right, the RMs. Those are the ones at the bottom of the totem pole, right?
Not exactly bottom. Spring describes the RMs as the nanoverse, solarverse, and get this, Uverse.
Hold up. Uverse? As in me. My own personal universe.
Yep. You, me, every single person listening to this right now, we're all regional managers.
Get out! So we're not just employees in this cosmic company, we're all running our own little departments.
That's how Spring sees it. We're responsible for managing the energy and matter within our own little corners of the universe.
This is incredible. So if I'm understanding this correctly, each of us is like a microcosm of the macrocosm.
Exactly.
And we're responsible for maintaining order and balance within our own universe, which then affects everything else.
It's like that saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, but on a cosmic level.
Wow. Okay, so big picture time. What does this all mean? If we're all regional managers in charge of our own universes, how should we be living our lives? Give us some cosmic career dice.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And Spring doesn't really give a straight answer. It's more like she's giving us a new lens to look through, a new way to think about our place in the universe.
So it's less about following a set of cosmic rules and more about understanding the energy and interconnectedness of it all.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're not just isolated beings going about our day. We're part of something much bigger, more complex, where even our smallest actions can create ripples.
It's kind of humbling when you think about it like that, but also kind of empowering, knowing that we have the potential to impact the balance of the universe, even if we don't fully understand how it all works.
Absolutely. And that's where the real journey begins. If we take Spring's model to heart, the next question becomes, how do we want to show up as regional managers of our own UVerses?
That's a big question. Do we prioritize efficiency, innovation, sustainability? Maybe a mix of everything.
Maybe it's about bringing more awareness to our energy, our intentions, how we interact with the world around us. Perhaps it's about recognizing that we're all connected, from the smallest subatomic particle to the vast expanse of the cosmos.
It's like we're not just managing our own little UVerses in isolation, we're contributing to the overall health and harmony of the entire cosmic corporation.
Right. And think about it, just like in a successful company, collaboration, innovation, a shared vision, all of that is essential. Maybe the universe works in a similar way.
Wow. So the takeaway here is that we're all part of something much greater than ourselves, and our actions really do matter, even on a cosmic scale.
Precisely. It's a call to be aware, to be responsible, and maybe even to collaborate on a cosmic level.
Who knows, maybe if we all start managing our UVerses with a little more intention, we can create a ripple effect that benefits not just ourselves, but the entire universe. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring those big questions, keep your minds open, and remember, you are a vital part of this grand cosmic dance.
Being a soul star is easy. Just like and subscribe to join the journey. Thanks for watching.